Welcome back to another episode of Raul's World of Synths. I am Raul. Today we're going to be kind of picking up where we left off with the patch that we were kind of just playing around with. If you joined us last time, then you kind of saw how we were putting this patch together by plugging in 3 different waveforms going to 3 different effects up here, to the BBD, to the bit modifier, and to the WAS filter. And I'm taking the outputs from those 3 and going over into the quad VCA down here. I think we had the WAS filter bandpass in number 1, and then BBD in number 2 right there. And then number 3 was our bit modifier, and then number 4 was our low pass high pass out. I brought the manual morph to about here, but let's kind of just move through those to kind of do a quick review. There's the bandpass. There's the BBD. And then there's the bit modifier sound. And that's just our regular old low pass high pass out from the WAS filter. So now I thought it'd be fun to kind of just play and do a little bit of modulation with this guy, just to kind of vary it even further. We're going to take a LFO, and that's over here on the far left of the top section. There you go. And I thought we'd kind of use the saw wave right here to do a little bit of morphing. And then I'm going to patch right there. Let me actually put my manual morph right there about the center. And then I'm going to patch it in here. So you can hear it kind of moving through a couple of the patches right there. I'll bring up my CV control. And it might be on a frequency that's a little too fast. Yeah, I think it is. So let me bring the frequency down a little bit. And let's go again. Here it comes. There we go. Maybe not the best manual morph setting. Let's try a different one. Maybe like right there. Okay, let's go to 0. That's better. So we'll wait for that to cycle again. So you can hear right there that it's kind of moving through the 4 different patches. But it might be hard to hear, but I can hear it in my headphones, and this is something that, if you remember, Nav's helped a couple episodes back on the Morph Controller. This is something he kind of mentioned to me, kind of in passing, about occasionally with the waveform that you choose, you might get a small little click. Now, I don't know by the time you hear it if you're going to be able to hear that click, so don't strain too hard. It's a very small click that happens, and it's essentially happening when I believe the saw wave, if I'm not mistaken here, jumps back up to the top. There's a small little click. But you can still get kind of a nice little morphing going on. And if you wanted to, you could also probably use a filter and cut out a little bit of that click to kind of subdue it a little bit. Let's try a sine wave. And it just kind of flew by. Let's wait for it to cycle again. And it's just going really fast through the different pieces. Unless that's what you want. So for me, at any rate, I sort of enjoy the manual morphing with this module, because you can kind of move through the different presets. Or that's what I'm calling them, the different effects, essentially. 4 different signals that are in the A135. Bit modifier. And then, of course, the last one there. a bandpass. So just for a little bit of fun, I do want to kind of go in and maybe cut out a little bit of the noise from the BBD. So it's right there, although it's not really that prevalent. Let me bring it up a little. Let me show you what I mean. It's just kind of a very distinct high-pitched drone right there. Although I don't really hear that much of it right there. Just bring it back and then back to my manual morphing. I don't know. Personally, I like that. So from here, where do we go? We could do a couple of things like just modulating if we wanted to. So why don't we get that going? And again, this is just experimenting here. For the most part, we're almost concluded on the A144 series, but this is just a little extra patching to kind of put everything together. So I'm going to actually take triangle wave from here. And I'm just going to go into CV number 2. And right there you can really start to hear the noise right there when it gets to the fastest part. Not right here, but when it cycles back up, it goes up, it goes up. Right about there you can start to hear the noise really well. Okay. So I'm going to use that slow modulation with a triangle wave to my BBD module. And then let me move over to my WAS filter right there. And we'll see if we can't get something interesting happening there as well. So I'm going to take the sine wave out from there. And let's just go into Bit Crush. Or I'm sorry, not doing that one yet. Let's just go into CV input number 1. So we get a little bit of a change. I'm also adjusting the input level. Kind of makes for a nice crunchy distortion. That's characteristic of the WAS filter. So since we have that piped in there, let's flip over to the last one so we can hear how it's affecting the low pass, high pass. There we go. Not bad. All right, now let's take that last low frequency signal. We'll take the saw and let's just take it into our bit modifier. See what kind of effect we get there. Let's flip over to bit crusher. A lot of activity right there. Let's try it in this one. Not bad. I like that. Really liking that. All right, so now let's go back to BBD just to kind of check out what's going on over there. Speeding up a little bit. And we just have our WAS filter. Bandpass out. So we just added a little bit of variety with our A147 over there. Now, if we go down to the bottom, I actually have another A147 down here that I can add additional modulation with if I wanted to. Let's see, do we have any other CV inputs? I guess we could do like an adjustment on the pulse wave that's going into the bit modifier. So let's just do a nice smooth sine wave. And I'm just going to do a little pulse width modulation. So that's another way that I can vary it. Now this one is happening at a different rate. So at this point I could I'm just kind of adjusting it until I find something I like. And that kind of worked out nicely since the pulse wave is the one that's actually going into our bit modifier right there. And again, there's probably 1,000 different ways that you could patch this. I could probably utilize all kinds of other things. Using the polarizing mixer, you know, we have the low pass filter that I could use if I wanted to reduce some of that clock noise. I personally think that in this patch it's not really getting that much on my nerves, so I kind of like it there. And then if I wanted to do, you know, a little bit more morphing, take this out, maybe slow it down a little bit, do a little CV morphing. Still going a little too fast. Let's slow it down. So we get a nice little morph there. And again, these are just experiments. At any rate, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the A144 Morph Controller series. I hope that you found this useful. I know I did. I learned quite a few things going through a lot of the various patches that you can use with this. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. But at any rate, I hope that you join us next time. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be sort of exploring next time, but whatever it is, hopefully you'll be here for that. This patch I know took a little bit of time, so it's kind of a little closer to something like one of the patched segments, but I think overall it was useful, at least for me. Well, we've covered a lot of ground with the A144. We did basics. We did kind of regular manual morphing. We looked at different oscilloscope views. We also talked a little bit about some of the issues that come up with the Morph controller. And then the wave shaping as well, the specific type of wave shaping that's here. We got a little bit of help from Navs over at Navs Modular blog. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I do encourage you to do so, just to kind of expand your knowledge on the internals of some of these guys. Overall, it's a very beneficial thing to know a little bit about the circuitry, as Navs was telling me. So thanks again for watching, and hope to see you next time.